Good morning, children. Today we are going to read the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. It is written by Adrienne Rich. Here, the poetess talks about our society, the society which is patriarchal in nature, the society where we see male domination and male chauvinism. Here, each and every woman is a target of patriarchy and is compelled to live a life under the thumb of their male counterparts. Here in the poem, we have one character by the name Aunt Jennifer, and she is not able to live her life on her own terms because she is dominated by her husband. She is harassed by her husband and she has to listen to the dictates of her husband, and the result is that her freedom, her confidence is crushed under the feet of her husband. Aunt Jennifer wants to live, Aunt Jennifer wanted to live a life as fearless, as chivalric as the tigers do. But she was forced to live a life of submission and restraint. So, this is what the poem is about. Let's read it in detail. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree, they pace in sleek chivalric certainty. Let us discuss the difficult words first. Prance means to jump. Here, screen means the panel on which Aunt Jennifer embroiders. Topaz is a gemstone and you can see its image here. Denizens means inhabitants. World of green means forest. Sleek means elegance. Chivalric means bravery, and certainty means confidence over here. So Aunt Jennifer is in the habit of embroidering tigers on a panel on a screen, and these she hangs on the walls. Aunt Jennifer's tigers, they appear real, and it seems that any moment they will jump out of the screen. They are of the color of the bright topaz. Topaz gemstone is yellow in color, and similar is the color of the skin of the tigers. And denizens of a world of green means these tigers are the inhabitants of forest, a natural setting. These tigers do not fear the men beneath the tree. So you can imagine that Aunt Jennifer has made a panel on which she has drawn, she has embroidered a few tigers, and then there is a tree, and under the tree there are few men standing, maybe they are hunters, a typical forest scene. But the tigers are not scared of the hunters and they are moving elegantly, boldly, and confidently in front of the hunters. So, this is your first stanza. Here, the poetess describes the tigers that Aunt Jennifer has embroidered. And through this, we are able to understand the character of Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer is totally the opposite of what these tigers are. These tigers, they are bright, they are confident, they live in a natural setting of forest. But Aunt Jennifer, she is all the time nervous, she has lost all her confidence, and she lives in an artificial setting of, you can say, a city or the artificial setting of marriage. The tigers are fearless of the men beneath the tree, but Aunt Jennifer is completely under the terror of her husband. She doesn't have elegance left in her. She shudders with the thought of her husband. Chivalric, the tigers are chivalric, they are bold, Chivalric is a word that is used uh, in relation with warriors, knights. So their bravery is indicated by the word chivalric. And Aunt Jennifer is not at all chivalric. Certainty here means confidence. Tigers move around in the jungle with confidence, but Aunt Jennifer, she has totally lost her confidence because of the treatment met out to her by her husband. So, in the first stanza, the poetess talks about tigers. She has discussed the tigers that Aunt Jennifer has made, and these tigers are in stark contrast with the character of Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer wanted to live a life like that of tigers, but she was not allowed to do so. So, what she couldn't do in her real life, she is portraying it through her art. This is your first stanza. Here, tigers are described, and in a way, Aunt Jennifer is described. Now, look at the second stanza, children. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hands. Fluttering means shuddering, shivering. Ivory needle. Ivory needle means a very lightweight needle made out of the tusk of elephant. So you can see in the image the tusk is there with this tusk of elephants. Needles are made and they are very lightweight. Then wedding band, you can see the image again. Wedding band is the ring that husband and wife they exchange at the time of wedding. So these are the few difficult words. So here the poetess talks about Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering, shivering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. So when Aunt Jennifer is embroidering, at that time also her hands shiver, and they shiver so much that she is not even able to pull out the lightweight needle out of the cloth because of the fear of her husband. Whether the husband will approve of her habit of embroidering or not, maybe that is the fear, or maybe some other thought related to her husband comes to her mind when she is embroidering. Because when she is embroidering, when she is pulling the ivory needle through the cloth, that time her eyes uh, fall on her wedding band, on her wedding ring, and that wedding ring resembles all the tortures, all the maltreatments that she had borne because of her husband. So, the thought of the husband comes to her mind whenever she is embroidering, because while embroidering, her eyes fall on her wedding ring. So when her eyes fall on wedding ring, she starts shivering and she is not even able to pull out the lightweight ivory needle out of the piece of cloth. The the massive weight of uncle's wedding band. Though the wedding ring is quite light, it can be easily carried by anyone, but the poet is using massive weight. So this wedding band stands for her marriage. And this marriage is not a happy one. Here, Aunt Jennifer is struggling to live an independent life, and all through her life, she is denied that kind of life that she always dreamt of. So, this marriage is not a happy one, and she has to suffer various humiliations in this marriage, and because of that, along with the tortures that she has suffered. Because of that, this wedding band carries a massive weight for Aunt Jennifer. So, because of just the thought coming to her mind of her husband, and her fingers start shivering, and she's not able to do such an easy task of pulling an ivory needle through the piece of cloth. So, this is what is described in this stanza. Here, the important thing is, what does the wedding band signify? So, wedding band signifies the marriage of Aunt Jennifer, which is not at all a happy one. It signifies the tortures, the maltreatment, the harassment she had to undergo because of her husband. So, this humiliation, this maltreatment sits heavily upon her heart, and because of that, she has totally lost her confidence, and she is not even able to do easy tasks like pulling the ivory needle out of the piece of cloth. I hope the second stanza is clear. In the first stanza, the poetess describes the tigers. The tigers, they are fearless. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They walk in elegance. They move around boldly, confidently. And here we see Aunt Jennifer. She is shivering at the very thought of her husband, and she's not even able to do the easy things like pulling the ivory needle. So I hope the two stanzas are clear to you. Now we come to the third stanza. Here, the poetess says, when Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. So, in the first stanza, the tigers are described. In the second stanza, the Aunt Jennifer is described. And in the third stanza, a comparison is made that what would happen when Aunt Jennifer dies. So, the poetess says, when Aunt Jennifer dies, still her soul will also be under the grip of her husband's fear. She will not be liberated of her husband's fear even after her marriage. Such will be the impact of his tortures on her. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie still ringed. Still, hands will lie still ringed means even when she'll die, at that time also she'll be wearing uncle's wedding ring. Ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. Ordeals, children, normally ordeals, the word means a difficult situation. Okay, like an exam of yours, a test of yours, that is an ordeal. And here, the ordeals that she was mastered by her husband. Here, ordeals means all the techniques and tools used by her husband to domesticate her, you can say. So, ordeals here again means the same, the tortures, the humiliations, the abusive language used by the husband of Aunt Jennifer to master her, to enslave in her. So, here in the first two lines, the poetess says that even when Aunt is dead, that time also she'll be wearing the ring that stands for all the tortures and humiliations with which the uncle controlled her, and she will not be able to free herself from the fear of her husband even after her death. But the tigers, they will still remain the same. The tigers in the panel, the tigers on the screen, they will move on here and there, jumping, proud and unafraid. The tigers will be proud of their existence. They will be confident about themselves, and without any fear they will move around. So, even after her death, it is difficult to say that Aunt Jennifer will be able to liberate her soul from the fear of her husband. So, such is the impact of patriarchy on Aunt Jennifer. So, this is a feminist poem, children, and here the poetess is trying to say that in our societies, women are not treated well, especially in the system of marriage. Man tries to control his wife by all means, and the society conform to that kind of behavior of the husband. The woman is not given the right even to raise her voice against this maltreatment. Even in some houses, violence against women is also seen. So, our society keeps mum and wants this system of patriarchy to be prevalent. So, through this poem, the poetess is trying to bring out the you can say the negative side of our society, and she wants that justice be met to women. That time has come that man and woman, they must be treated equal in the society, and there shouldn't be any discrimination on the ground of gender. So this is the message of the poem. I hope the poem is clear to you. Thank you.